Ah, I really need to cut my nails. All right. Well, that's going. I hate it when that happens. Good. Okay. That's. Okay, folks. Today, if you didn't know, is the Solidarity Vigil all over the world, marking the 6th year, I guess, anniversary. I wouldn't call it that as like a good thing. Usually anniversaries are a good thing. So what I'm gonna do, and you can come on and help, or even if you're in the live chat, you can also help. I'm just finding videos that are out there and just sharing any pictures, sharing any videos, sharing any speeches, sharing pretty much anything of people out there actually protesting, or having solidarity, protesting, to get Julian Assange out, protesting to give him justice. So that's what we're doing tonight. No regular scheduled Bill Cooper. Off topic, anything goes might come in afterwards tonight. Who knows? But I figure this is just going to be a lot of different things as far as what we can find online. So you can come in and join if you want to. If not, you can just watch or just chat in live chat on YouTube. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just going to do two things that I'll be doing. One, of course, sharing what I find, but also I'm going to go on to Gab and share it and put the hashtag for it. I think Independent Outsider Dave came up with the hashtag Assange Worldwide. Let me double check. That was it. Assange Worldwide. Yeah. Hashtag Assange Worldwide. Hi, Eric. How's it going? All right. So without further ado, I will share my screen and let's go look for some videos. Excuse me. Hi, Shirley. Come on in, especially if you have any videos that you guys have found. What I'm going to go through is this list, and this is in the description box to go through and see if there's been any updates on any of these with additional pictures or videos. I don't know how to even drink anymore. Spilled all over myself. All right. Here we go. Let's go here. Now this is the website for Class Conscience. It's just 1 month ago, nothing new. I think that's just the coordinator for, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just kind of hurrying through these, so I might be making mistakes. All right, hosted by Class Conscious. If I go to their page, what do I see? Pictures I shared earlier for part 1, you could see it. Pictures here too. We won't go over it. If we've seen it already on the previous part 1 of the vigil, don't worry. No need to see it again. We just want to see something new. A lot of the vigils might be dying down right now. They might not be. Everyone might be going home. Okay, so that's it for Australia. Again, if you guys find anything within online, let me know. I'm gonna have to do that one. So. Let's see. So nothing yet. Again, let's see if Courage Foundation, because they're also part of it, they've gotten anything. 7 hours ago. There's a live blog article for June 4th. Okay, this one's updated June 19th. So there's a photo of the rally. Not a lot of people. We saw this video on the first part. Okay, here's one. The lawyers speak out for Assange's rights. We'll go and watch that one. Oh, whoa, that's 2 hours, 48 minutes. Let's see, let's play it back at the time that they have it at.
It is 12 minutes to 9. Julian Assange has spent 6 years in the Ecuadorian embassy. There have been signs that the government of Ecuador is tiring of hosting him, and the recent visit of Australian diplomats has led some to believe a deal may be being cooked up to encourage him to leave. I've been speaking to his lawyer, Jennifer Robinson, a barrister at Doughty Chambers, who'll be addressing the Human Rights Council in Geneva this afternoon on his case.
The message will essentially be that for 6 years, Julian Assange has been inside an embassy with no outdoor area, sunlight or ability to exercise, or the ability to get medical treatment. And the British government, by refusing to allow him to leave to get medical treatment and refusing to give an assurance against extradition that he'll be arrested if he seeks medical treatment, he's being forced to choose between the right to health and the right to asylum. And this is a choice no one should have to make.
That is the key. The last point, though, isn't it? He could choose to leave. He chooses not to leave because he's nervous that he may face extradition to the United States.
He was granted asylum on the basis of his legitimate fear of persecution if he's returned to the United States. This is a very serious situation. To face prosecution for publishing activities is a grave threat to free speech and to all publishers. So that is why he sought asylum. That is why he's entitled to it.
And what condition is he in now? We know his health is poor. How poor is it?
He's been inside without access to outside area for 6 years. It's a ground floor flat, effectively, the Ecuadorian embassy. We've had doctors assess him and say that it's having a severe impact on his physical and mental health.
And also the conditions he's been held in terms of access to people, access to outside information have been heavily restricted.
That's correct. Just in March this year, the Ecuadorian government has cut him off from the internet and communications. He can't have access to the internet or visitors, except for his lawyers, which we joke is its own form of cruel and unusual treatment.
Now, some have seen that decision by the Ecuadorians, some have seen the visit by Australian officials recently as a sign that something is about to change, something is about to happen. Do you believe that there is a deal, an arrangement that is about to be reached?
The short answer is we don't know what negotiations are happening between the UK and Ecuador. This case has dragged on for far too long. If the UK had given an assurance against extradition to the US in 2010, he would have accepted to go to Sweden and face those allegations, which have since been dropped. There is no outstanding allegations against him. He's never been charged. This case could be resolved simply with an assurance that he would not be sent to the US. It has
cost. If that doesn't come, to be clear, and the British government may say the United States are important allies of us, the allegations against him are very serious, and we wouldn't give this assurance to anybody else. Why should we give an assurance that you won't be extradited? You just have to face the legal process, they may argue.
Why should a publisher face prosecution for publishing activities that has revealed human rights abuse, corruption around the world?
Isn't that an argument he should have in court?
Well, if he's permitted to have that argument in court, and how long will that take in the United States? It is an incredibly serious situation, and it's costing the British taxpayers a huge amount of money. It's estimated that the policing costs at the embassy alone are somewhere in excess of £20 million.
It's now 6 years. Do you believe there'll be a 7th year in which Julian Assange is in that embassy?
I certainly hope there's not, because the situation is untenable and it must end. The question is whether he'll be protected from US extradition in the process.
Jennifer Robinson of the Doughty Chambers, thank you for joining us.
Okay, that was a good one. Good information there. Here's another one. I do not know what this one's going to be on. It's 27 minutes. There's definitely some buffering problems. Maybe we won't watch it. I will give you the link for it if you, shoot, that's not going to be easy to link, is it? I'll provide a link once I get a chance. Let's look for other things. Still nothing with Joseph J. I think I had it here before. Mostly from stuff a couple of hours ago. It's kind of weird. Usually they do it by hour, but it's interesting. 10 hours ago. Let's see, some of these I've actually already showed, so there hasn't been an update yet. Text. Let's see, Alex Hills in New Zealand. Oh, yeah, this is the one I showed before. It's pretty good. You guys didn't watch the first part. You know, I need to go ahead and compile the ones that I already had onto the hashtag. Cynthia Price, still there. So this is 8 hours ago. Shared with Elizabeth Feedback, this on Crockett. Let's see, it's pretty long. That's something we can share later. I need to compile this. Okay. Let's see. Carmen Powers. This was in LA. Okay, looks like that one was cut off somehow. That's weird. First Amendment, bro. Facebook event here. That's the Cynthia Price. Here's a good, but this was yesterday. Some pretty good signs. Like to see if there are many people there or not. Let's see. And I'm hoping to find something that we haven't seen yet. Washington, D.C. Let's see that. When did this? Did we see this one yet? 46 minutes ago, or was it? It was like 5 hours. Let's see. All right, let's play it. It's quite a long video.
Gathered here on the 6th anniversary of Julian Assange seeking asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy to tell the British government that Julian can leave the embassy if you will withdraw, you know, your threat of arresting him for breaking his bond. And so we have a couple dozen people out here. We've been out here holding signs, and now we're getting ready to do a little bit of a speak out and a rally. So we'll see the speakers. This is Malika McCreevy, National Campaign for Nonviolent Resistance.
Europe and the United States, people are gathering to support Julian Assange and the important work that he has brought to all of us around the world. Letting us see what our governments are up to, the crimes of our government especially, and the war crimes, and the inspiration he has been to other whistleblowers for the cause of freedom, democracy, transparency. So we have a few speakers right now, and I'd like to bring up Angel, who is an investigative journalist. She can tell you where she is, lives in 2 different places, but she's a great supporter of Julian Assange, and she has to catch a flight, so she's going to speak first.
All right, Angel!
All right, Angel!
Angel Fox here. I actually live in New Hampshire. I just moved there 2 weeks ago from Wisconsin. I'm here today to make the statement that we need to free Assange because we need free speech and we need to support human rights. I would also like to make the statement that this man has not seen his children for over 7 years. His kids have went without a father for over 7 years. If you can imagine not seeing your children or your children seeing you and not giving them the influence that a father gives, then you know what Julian's going through. They have placed a gag order on him so he cannot speak any longer to anyone, not even his own family.
Let's stop for a second and chant. Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Assange now.
Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! I wonder who they are. Free Julian Assange! 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 So that was a group of folks coming out from the British Embassy, and so we had to enter our speeches to send them a message.
That I would like to make as a mother. The suffering that Julian Assange is going through, watching her son go through the torture of solitary confinement. It is a fact that solitary confinement after 15 days is considered torture.
So we're outside of the British Embassy, and we're rallying in solidarity with Julian Assange on the 6th anniversary of his seeking asylum. in the Ecuadorian embassy,
11 years has
and
never
the
been
UK
proven
can
wrong.
create the conditions for him to go
Every
free.
court case that
They dropped their
every
arrest warrant for him,
and
he can go free.
I voted for President Trump.
So,
I am so angry with him for not
so we just want to make sure that they know.
supporting human rights and for not supporting Constitution. Our government vows to support the Constitution, and instead of supporting it, they pick and choose what they want to do. We need to stand as people, as supporters, and say enough is enough. Truth is not a crime. Free press, free Assange.
Right. So this is Margaret Flowers from Popular Resistance. This is our second vigil today in Washington, D.C. We are currently outside of the British Embassy.
Just for picking up on a very important point. We are
Maliki McGreevy
about
of
very basic
National Campaign for Nonviolent Resistance.
principles of democracy, principles of a free press, principles of having knowledge of what our government is up to. This is not a left-wing issue or a right-wing issue. This is about common sense. This is about democratic principles that all people can embrace in support of Julian Assange. So a number of us here in the Baltimore and D.C. area worked to support Julian Assange locally here in the belly of the beast, and we have the People's Committee to Julian Assange, and we've attempted to deliver letters to the ambassador here who represents the government of Great Britain and the people of Great Britain. This is our latest letter that we're going to attempt to deliver today. It's to Sir Nigel Kim Dara, who is Her Majesty's ambassador to the United States. And we write, we represent many U.S. Americans who are concerned about the well-being and freedom of Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks. As you are aware, the case of Julian Assange has gained international attention and scrutiny. In 2012, Assange sought and received asylum inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And if he leaves the embassy, he will be arrested.
Watch out, guys, watch out.
Watch out!
He and many others are rightly considered if he is
Watch out,
arrested,
David!
he will be extradited to the United States, where secret grand juries have been convened relating to the work of WikiLeaks reporting. In May 2017, the Swedish prosecutors dropped the European arrest warrant and ended their investigation against Assange without bringing any charges against them. However, a year before this, in 2016, the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention heard evidence from all parties to the then dispute. The working group concluded that even then, Assange's detention violated
We are outside the British Embassy in Washington, D.C. And right now, Maliki McGreevy is reading a letter that's going to be delivered to the British ambassador tonight. And we're here on the 6th anniversary of Julian Assange seeking asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And the British government can end this by taking back their arrest warrant for Julian so that he can safely leave the embassy. If he leaves and they arrest him, he could be jailed, he could be extradited to the United States, where we do not expect that he would face any sort of a fair trial. So we're saying to stop the persecution of Assange and free him
We
now.
demand that Julian Assange be allowed to leave the Ecuadorian embassy in London immediately without being held or arrested by the police. Signed, the People's Committee to free Julian Assange. We are going to sign this letter. You're welcome to sign on to this letter, and we will attempt to deliver this letter. So come and see me, and I'll hand you this letter you can sign. So, thank you. I'd like to bring up Alex.
Or move on.
Okay.
Alex is representing the World Socialist website, and the World Socialist website, WSWS.org, has consistently supported Julian Assange and promoted the cause for his freedom and his liberty as a journalist of people all around the world. Alex?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Alex, and I am a member of the International Youth and Students for Social Equality, the IYSSC. I am also a writer for the World Socialist website. Today, I am standing before you not only as a defender of democratic rights, but also as a young person who was politically educated because of WikiLeaks and the work of Julian Assange. Through the brave actions of whistleblowers like Chelsea Manning, myself and my entire generation were exposed to the naked criminality and corruption of the ruling elites around the world. We learned that phrases like the war on terror really meant the ravaging and destruction of entire societies in the Middle East that have resulted in millions of deaths, to say nothing of those who have lost limbs, homes, and those who forever live with the trauma of war. In 2016, WikiLeaks confirmed what millions of workers and young people already knew: that Hillary Clinton was a corporate warmonger who was in the pockets of the banks and the financial elite. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks did what the corporate organizations would not dare to do. They acted as real journalists. They questioned and exposed the lies of the government and freely and openly published the truth. As a result of these courageous actions, millions have seen through the hypocrisy of the capitalist politicians and have turned away from the discredited parties of the establishment. They are looking for an alternative, and they are using the internet to find one. Assange and WikiLeaks are being targeted because freedom of speech and democratic rights are increasingly incompatible with even the pretense of democracy in America. If workers and youth communicate with one another across the globe, they will understand that they have the same social interests. They will know that they are not enemies, and that the nationalism and anti-immigrant xenophobia that is pumped by the big business politicians and the trade unions is just one more way to keep them divided. Through social media, workers and youth can seek new ways to organize in opposition to falling wages and poor living conditions. This is just what happened earlier this year during the West Virginia, Oklahoma, Arizona, and other states. Rank-and-file teachers formed giant Facebook groups to organize protests and strikes, initially in opposition to the teachers' union. In Brazil, truck drivers used WhatsApp to coordinate protests that brought the country to its knees in a matter of weeks. But even more importantly, if the population can access independent and critical information, they will find an international socialist perspective. And this is what governments all around the world are most afraid of. What will happen when opposition to war and inequality can no longer be contained? What will happen when workers and youth want to organize against the drive for a new world war? What will happen when millions decide that they can no longer accept the fact that they struggle from paycheck to paycheck, while just 3 individuals will have as much wealth as 150 million people, or half the population of the United States? For the working class, a free and open access to the internet is a life and death issue. The defense of Julian Assange is a defense of all the democratic rights that the ruling class wants to attack, censor, and dismantle. This attack on Assange and the democratic rights is not simply based on any one political party. The Obama administration was behind the witch hunt that led Assange to the Ecuadorian embassy in 2012, where he has been for the past 6 years on this day. The Democratic National Committee has launched a lawsuit that names WikiLeaks and its founder, Julian Assange, as defendants. If the Democratic Party succeeds, this will come at the expense of the rights of all future whistleblowers by undercutting the main constitutional protections for journalists who publish leaked material. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders has also claimed that there was, quote, Russian hacking in the 2016 elections, thereby aligning himself with the very forces that want to see Assange dead. Any thought that the attack on free speech is going to be alleviated based on appeals to the Democratic Party or any party that represents the interests of capitalism is fooling themselves. Assange is trapped in a room with no sunlight, no access to medical care, and no contact with the outside world because of a bipartisan assault. The criminal and blood-soaked Julian in this country will not hesitate for a second to use the same energy against political dissenters, immigrants, and even workers on strike. The Socialist Equality Party and the World Socialist website have been at the forefront on a campaign to free Julian Assange and to defend all democratic rights. For this too, we are being censored by Google, Facebook, and Twitter. Despite a virtual media blackout, the Socialist Equality Party in Australia held a rally in Sydney last Saturday to demand that the Australian government free Assange. We see this only as the beginning of what must be an international campaign to free Assange and return him unharmed to Australia.
That's right.
I urge you to please support these vigils and to come speak to me or any reporter for the World Socialist website to learn how you can do more for this.
Very good.
Thank you.
That's the spirit. Melody.
Thank you very much. I have a speech that was delivered by John Pilger the other day. It is actually on the World Socialist website. It's a very powerful speech in support of Julian Assange. I'll read a little bit of it later, but I urge you to go to the World Socialist website to see the speech and also read it. The next person I'd like to bring up is a longtime advocate for justice and peace, supporting whistleblowers, Ray McGovern.
Say it like it is, Ray. Like you always do.
What a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
There are millions across this globe that are celebrating Julian, celebrating who he is and what he's done, and how he's made it possible for us to be proud of a publisher, which is what he is, journalist and publisher. Now, I was talking to Kelly before, and she was mentioning the opposite of Julian Assange would be people like Anderson Cooper, maybe, you know, and other people that, not the worst of them. But I have a little story to tell you about Anderson Cooper and me, okay? Now, back in May of 2006, I had a chance to debate Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of Defense at the time, and ask him why he lied to get us involved in Iraq and why he just was glib about all the casualties.
Woo!
And after that, I got a call on my cell phone. Hello, Mr. McGovern. This is Anderson Cooper. You're looking quite disturbed out here. I'd like to have you on my show tonight. Would that be okay? I said, well, sure. But first I have to ask you a question. So what's that? He says, oh, well, how do I say this? Weren't you afraid? Now, I was pretty much in shock, so I thought, well, that's a normal question. So I said, no, I wasn't. I've been briefing secretaries of defense for a long time, and then I thought, well, wait a second. Anderson Cooper, heir to the Vanderbilt fortune. He's not going to be out on the street with his hat out in the streets of Atlanta. So I said, this is my chance. So I said, Anderson, listen, I have to be really candid with you. It was a real high. I mean, it was a real high. What I had done was I did my homework, looked at what Rumsfeld had said in the past. I knew I could get him to disavow it and lie. And so, yeah, it was a real high. So, Anderson, you might want to think about that. You might want to think about doing your homework and asking some real questions of these guys. You'll find it's a real thrill. Well, that's very well and good. I'll have my people get in touch with your people. No, Anderson, I don't have any people. No people. Just call this number back. So what am I trying to say here? If there's anybody that doesn't have to fear for his future, heir to the Vanderbilt fortune, pretty boy on CNN, he's asking me, wasn't I afraid? Just to ask Rumsfeld questions that I knew he'd lie about. So, you know, that's the tenor of things here, and that's why Julian Assange is so key, because as we said in his in the citation that we wrote when we named him our recipient of the Sam Adams Award.
That sucks. I think the video's stopped. We'll see if there was more. Maybe his battery died or something happened. Let's see. Just watch that. There's more. Okay, look, so I think I just played that one. It didn't seem to play all of it. Maybe this is the follow-up. Let me just see.
Flag, here's the embassy back.
Yep. So that was it. So this one is in front of the White House.
Our main audience is a live.
So this is Margaret Flowers with Popular Resistance, and we are here outside of the White House for the rally to free Julian Assange. Today marks the 6th anniversary of the date that Julian Assange first sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy for 6 years. He's been inside of the embassy, unable to go outside except maybe on a balcony, and for the past couple of months he's been cut off completely, no internet access, and no contact with visitors, and so this is a really cruel punishment, and he fears being kicked out of the embassy and being extradited to the US, where he will face an unfair prosecution. So people today around the world are rallying in support of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, and we're going to get started in just a moment. We have some really amazing speakers lined up this morning, so please spread the word, let folks know, share this on your Facebook page. Let's get the message out there, because of course the corporate media is not talking about this, certainly not talking about it in a way that's fair to Julian Assange, and so we have to be the media and realize that this fight is a big fight. If the media was thinking about it, they would be covering this, because this is them too. Anybody who tells the truth that the elites don't want you to hear is under threat of being attacked, and so this is really about our ability to have information and tell the truth, and Julian Assange is being used as an example to shut that down. So,
okay, folks, thank you very much for coming.
This is Kevin Zeese with Popular Resistance.
Here at the White House to support Julian Assange. My name is Kevin Zeese. I'm with Popular Resistance. I'm also on the board, the advisory board of the Courage Foundation, which is a whistleblower protection group. I was on the steering committee of the Chelsea Manning Support Network. We're here today to call for an end to the persecution of Julian Assange. We want him to be able to leave the Ecuadorian embassy without the threat of being extradited to the United States to face charges that could leave him in prison for the rest of his life. That's not how a publisher, how an editor-in-chief should be treated. Telling the truth, reporting the news is not a crime. And WikiLeaks has done more to report some really important stories than any other media outlet. In fact, other media outlets, the commercial media, will use WikiLeaks as their source, even though they don't support Julian Assange. I'll explain that in a little bit. They'll use their information to tell the news, because WikiLeaks has never been caught in a lie. They've always told the truth.
They put out documents that can't be disputed, and they force the narrative to move toward the truth. The shirt I'm wearing, the Truth shirt, is a shirt that you've seen Julian Assange wear. It's a shirt that we developed as part of the support for Chelsea Manning. We weren't allowed to wear shirts that said support Chelsea Manning in the courtroom, so we decided to wear shirts that said truth. And that gave the court a choice of either hiding the truth or letting the truth be shown. So we wore the Truth shirts with no problem and became the Truth Brigade in the Chelsea Manning trial. Let me say that there's a battle going on right now in our media between the monopolized corporate media, the mass media, that tells the narrative that government and big business interests want to be told. Their credibility has been going downhill. The credibility is going downhill because the independent media and social media has been starting to develop an alternative narrative. And WikiLeaks has played a critical role in democratizing the media. They've given people in government and people in big business the ability to tell the truth. And that truth is so important. It forces the corporate media to respond and act more diligently, unable to tell their narrative when they know that it's going to be balanced by a narrative of the people's media, the independent and social media. So WikiLeaks has already won that battle. No matter what happens to Julian Assange, the truth will continue to be told. They've created vehicles now that allow people to leak documents so the truth can't be hidden. But Julian Assange should not be prosecuted, should not be persecuted. He is the John Peter Zenger of this century. John Peter Zenger was the person who really was prosecuted and created essentially freedom of speech and freedom of the press in the colonial era. Julian Assange is fighting for freedom of speech and freedom of press in the 20th century. What right do we have to information? How free is the internet? What does freedom of press and freedom of speech mean? It means that people have the right to get the truth out. And that's what we're here trying to do. I'm not going to speak much more now. I'll be introducing various speakers along the way. I want to introduce the first speaker, my co-organizer, Angel Fox, who I just met this morning in person. We met online before that. Angel is why I got involved in this effort. Today's effort is not just happening in Washington, D.C., by the way. There are more than 20 protests around the country. There was a protest yesterday in Australia, unity rallies for Julian Assange. And I wouldn't have got involved if Angel hadn't contacted me and pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, because I have a very busy schedule already. But this is such an important issue that I really want to thank her for pushing me. She's an internet activist, a strong believer in getting the truth out, and a strong believer in WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. Please welcome Angel Fox.
Oh, thanks. It was a collaborative effort. Into the black.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, hear this out to Facebook pages.
I'm not good enough, to be honest. I'm very nervous. This is my first public speaking with such important people. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. Every supporter counts. You may think that a letter or retweeting, thank you, retweeting a meme or an article doesn't mean much, but every supporter is like a drop of rain that hits a flat lake, and there's a ripple effect. Pretty soon, you're a wave, and you're capsizing boats just by saying what you believe. I'm here to represent and support a man who's not just a publisher, but he is a father, he is a son, he is a brother, and he's a friend to many. He didn't have to, he reached out to me when I started supporting him, and I'm here to support him because he stands for every one of us. If they silence him, they silence us, every single American citizen. If they silence him, the First Amendment is done. I started out supporting Trump. I voted for him. I wanted him to be president because he was an outsider, and he promised to support Julian. He said over 150 times pre-election that he loved WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. and did a 180 turn, and I am disgusted. I am disgusted with his putting a torture in as the CIA director. I am disgusted with some of his White House staff and their hatred of WikiLeaks. All WikiLeaks is a publisher. It's not a terrorist organization, it's a publisher. And if we start persecuting publishers and we take Julian Assange out, we let them look at him, who will be next? It will be all of us, every single one of us. I would also like to make the point that in over 7.5 years, Julian Assange has not seen his children. Our government wants to extradite him here, to put him in jail for 44 years for publishing the truth and exposing the corruption of our government. They have taken him away from his children. This honestly makes me cry sometimes because I'm a mother and I have been separated from my children by not being able to afford to go see them when I moved away. I cannot imagine going 7 years without seeing your kids. His children deserve a father in their life. They have gagged him and made it impossible for him to speak to his mother, his children, or the outside world. This is solitary confinement. And according to the UN Nelson Mandela Act, anything over 15 days is torture. This is torture. This is going to affect Julian permanently. If you read or you Google solitary confinement, you will see that people are never the same after they've been put in solitary confinement. This man did nothing wrong. He does not deserve this. His kids do not deserve this. And his mother do not deserve this. And I'm just calling on President Trump to do the right thing, the human thing. To stand up for what he vows to do by vowing to uphold the Constitution. He vowed to uphold free speech and the First Amendment. And I'm asking all of you to be a supporter who makes that drop in that wave and makes a wave, even if it's a letter or a tweet or simply being here. You can make a difference. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Lee Stranahan. He's a radio announcer, and he's a good friend of mine. I follow him on Twitter. You have to watch his radio program. He's an incredible speaker. And
Angel. Hey,
everybody, how you doing today?
Doing great.
It's a little warm, so thanks very much for everyone coming out. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, my name's Lee Stranahan. My partner on my radio show, Fault Line, Scarlett Nixon, is right there. And I'll keep this brief because it's so hot. But let's think about history for a second. Let's think about what Assange has done. When the history of journalism is written, people are not, I can safely say, they're not going to remember the name Jim Acosta. Nothing wrong with Jim, exactly, but that one name that people are going to remember is Julian Assange. And the reason why is he is the only journalist of this era who is truly of this era. We're in an information revolution right now. And Assange has been able to achieve what he did. And you can achieve it too. You have a secret. I'm going to tell you what the secret is. Assange has been able to do what he did not because he had massive access to money like most media companies. It's not even a technical innovation that he has, because obviously he knows tech, but that's not it. What does Julian Assange have that everybody here, everybody watching has? The thing that separates Julian Assange from the rest of the media today is bravery. That's it. He's brave. He simply took material that anybody could have published the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Huffington Post, Breitbart News, etc., anybody. I don't care whether you're in the left, the right, the center, you're sick of politics. Assange is a guy who stood up and published the material. And then he did it again. And then he did it again. And they went after him, and he kept publishing. And this is the thing you can do right now. You have this bravery right now. All you have to do is retweet something about Reconnect Julian. Retweet something about Free Assange. Because, by the way, it's not enough that he gets reconnected at this point. He needs to be free. He needs to be out of that embassy. And you can do something right now. Talk to somebody. Send something out on Facebook. Do something. For God's sake, do something, please. Show a little bit of the bravery. This is not about agreeing with Assange on everything. It's not about any of that. It's about recognizing when someone stands up and bravely takes on the establishment and bravely takes on the war machine that is going around the world, which is what he's done consistently. It's up to people to support him. That's what I have to say. Kevin, thanks very much.
Woo! Thank you, Lee!
Well, we've had 2 Republican speakers and 2 Trump supporter speakers. We'll change direction a little bit, I think, during this process. Let me introduce our next speaker, a whistleblower from the EPA, formerly with the EPA, Marsha Coleman Adebayo, bravely stood up during the Clinton war era and told the truth about the mining of uranium in South Africa. Uranium in South Africa. And as a result of her effort, led to the law that protects whistleblowers, the No Fear Act. We can tell you more about that. But Marsha is a brave whistleblower who fights for justice on many fronts beyond. Since then, she led a group called No Fear Coalition that was a group of whistleblowers, and she's a supporter of freeing Julian Assange. Welcome, Marsha Coleman Adebayo.
Woo! Thank you, Marsha. Please share this out on your Facebook page.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Amanla.
Amanla.
Okay, that's close. Well, Julian.
Flag. Here's the embassy back.
Against the global state to intimidate or instill fear in us. Julian has set a shining example. It is not the one that global capital thought he would set. He has challenged all of us to a higher level of courage, resistance, and struggle. Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
Long live the resistance movement against white supremacy!
And long live the resistance movement against white supremacy!
And long live the indomitable spirit of Winnie Mandela!
And long live the indomitable spirit of Winnie Mandela!
All right. Thank you, Marsha, for that. Thank you for that. We're going to stick with our female direction here, and I'll introduce Margaret Flowers, who's the co-director of Popular Resistance. She's known as one of the leading activists for national improved Medicare for all in the United States. She worked on the Chelsea Manning campaign with us, and she also has been leading an effort to put healthcare first before profit. Please welcome Margaret Flowers.
You want to switch up?
Thank you. All right, how's everybody doing?
Well,
thank you so much for coming out. This is a really important day. We have to recognize what we're facing with this attack on Julian Assange, with the persecution of Julian Assange. This is about Julian Assange because of what he's going through, but it's about more than that. It impacts all of us because what is information? What is knowledge? Knowledge and information are power. And a way that the elites control us and oppress us is by keeping information and knowledge from us. We see it in our school systems. We see it in our universities. We see it in the media that misleads us regularly. And we see now what they're doing to people who try to tell the truth. Let's think of some people that are considered American heroes, heroes in the United States. Daniel Ellsberg, who leaked the Vietnam papers and trying to find out what was happening in Vietnam, and the New York Times published it, and it changed what happened. It changed what the United States did. And he's been celebrated, and the New York Times has not faced any consequences for doing that. Well, that's Julian Assange. Julian Assange is the New York Times. He's taking information to let people know the truth. And they're trying to keep that away from us and send a chilling message to any one of us to try to share that truth. Now, one of the fights that we were engaged in at Popular Resistance was to stop the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a huge trade agreement that was a top priority of the Obama administration, and that was being negotiated in secret. 600 corporate lawyers and advisors writing rules to enrich themselves. Even our members of Congress couldn't read what the Trans-Pacific Partnership text was. But WikiLeaks was central. They published, released negotiating text. They published the final text in a searchable format once it was out there, and that was essential for us to let people know exactly what was going on and exactly why this was so bad. And it helped us to build that movement that stopped the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The people stopped mega transnational corporations from getting what they want. That's power. And that power came from information. So let's stand with Julian Assange today. Let's recognize that he needs to stop being tortured. He needs to be freed. And we need to demand it and say it everywhere that we go. And let's recognize that we need to continue to be brave and not to let these intimidation tactics affect us or impact us. We are going to tell the truth, and the people will prevail. Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Assange now.
Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Assange now. Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Assange now.
And now I'm very pleased to introduce our next speaker, someone whom I admire tremendously. Is Ray here?
Yeah, he is. Ray's here.
Okay. Ray McGovern is a veteran intelligence analyst who did the intelligence briefings for multiple presidents, and now is one of the co-founders of Veteran Intelligence Professionals for Sanity. We love him. Thank you so much, Ray.
All right. Yeah.
Good morning. First, I would like you to repeat after me. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Thank you. Just read an article about
against.
Know a person by the friends they keep. Well, you also know a person by the enemies they make. And when you look at Julian Assange, he's made a lot of enemies. Those enemies were, we had a lot of them under the Bush administration, under the Obama administration, and now it looks like he's making enemies under the Trump administration. He released critical information that the Bush administration was doing in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Guantanamo. Then he released information about what Hillary Clinton was doing and her close ties to her foundation and the Saudi regime, the close ties between the Obama administration and the Saudi regime. And now it looks like the Trump administration is pissed off with Julian Assange as well, because look at the pressure they're putting on Ecuador. I visited Julian Assange several times in London. At times I was there, he was able to keep that embassy a hub of activity, with people coming in and out all the time, with information being released all the time, with activists having access. And now they want to shut him down, keep him away from his means of communication, keeping visitors away, and that is because the U.S. is putting so much pressure on the new Ecuadorian government. And so let's remember that Julian Assange speaks out for the powerless against the powerful. That's right. Julian Assange speaks for those of us who want to see more equitable world.
That's right.
Julian Assange speaks the truth, and that's why he makes so much enemies. But let's look around at the friends that he has made. Friends on the left, friends on the right, friends in between. People who just want to hear the truth. People who want whistleblowers to be protected. People who want journalists to be protected. People who believe in free speech. So let's say free Julian Assange, free speech now. Free Julian Assange, free speech now. Free Julian Assange, free speech now. Thank you.
Thank you, Medea.
Thank you, Medea. Our next speaker is a journalist with one of the most important websites for news around Julian Assange and other whistleblowers and truth tellers. The World Socialist website does an incredible job of covering all sorts of rebellions around the world in the United States. Alex Gonzalez is a writer with the World Socialist website and a socialist activist. Please welcome Alex Gonzalez.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah. Good morning. My name is Alex, and I'm a member of the International Youth and Students for Social Equality and a writer for the World Socialist website. Today, I am standing before you not only as a defender of democratic rights, but also as a young person that was politically educated because of WikiLeaks and the work of Julian Assange. Through the brave actions of whistleblowers like Chelsea Manning, myself, and my entire generation were exposed to the naked criminality and corruption of the ruling elites around the world. We learned that phrases like the war on terror really meant the ravaging and destruction of entire societies in the Middle East that have resulted in millions of deaths, to say nothing of those who have lost limbs, homes, and who will forever live with the trauma of war. In 2016, WikiLeaks confirmed what millions of workers and young people already knew. Hillary Clinton was a corporate warmonger who was in the pockets of the banks and the financial elite. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks did what the corporate news organizations would not dare to do. They questioned and exposed the lies of the government and freely and openly published the truth. In other words, they acted as real journalists. As a result of these courageous actions, millions have seen to the hypocrisy of the capitalist politicians and have turned away from the discredited parties of the establishment. They are looking for an alternative, and they are using the internet to find one. Assange and WikiLeaks are being taught because freedom of speech and democratic rights are increasingly incompatible with even the pretense of democracy in America. If youth can communicate with one another across the globe, they will understand that they have the same social interests. They will know that they are not enemies, and that the nationalism and anti-immigrant xenophobia that is pumped by the big business politicians and the trade unions is just one more way to keep them divided. Through social media, workers and youth will seek to organize in opposition to falling wages and poor living conditions. This is just what happened earlier this year during the teacher strikes in West Virginia, Oklahoma, Arizona, and other states. Rank-and-file teachers formed giant Facebook groups to organize protests and strikes, initially in opposition to the teachers' unions. In Brazil, truck drivers used WhatsApp to coordinate protests that brought the country to its knees in a matter of weeks. But even more importantly, if the population can access independent and critical information, they will find an international socialist perspective. And this is what governments all around the world are most afraid of. What will happen when opposition to war and inequality can no longer be contained? What will happen when workers and youth want to organize against the drive for a new world war? What will happen when millions decide that they can no longer accept the fact that they have struggled from paycheck to paycheck while just 3 individuals own as much wealth as half of the American population? For the working class, a free and open access to the internet is a life and death issue. The defense of Julian Assange is a defense of the democratic rights that the ruling class wants to attack, censor, and dismantle.
That's right.
This attack attack on Julian Assange and on the democratic rights is not simply based on any one political party. The Obama administration was behind the witch hunt that led Assange to the Ecuadorian embassy in London in 2012, where he has been for the past 6 years on this day. The Democratic National Committee has launched a lawsuit that names WikiLeaks and Julian as defendants. If the Democratic Party succeeds, it will come at the expense of the rights of future whistleblowers by undercutting the main constitutional protection for journalists who publish leaked material. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders has also claimed that there was, quote, Russian hacking in the 2016 elections, thereby aligning himself with the very forces that want to murder Assange. Now, for telling the truth, WikiLeaks is being hunted, persecuted, and Julian Assange is under immense danger. On this very day, he still faces conditions where he has no access to sunlight, no access to medical care, no way to communicate with his friends and family. The World Socialist website and the Socialist Equality Party have been at the forefront in the campaign to defend Julian Assange, and we see this only as the first step to what must be an international campaign to win his freedom. We urge you to read the World Socialist website, wsws.org, and to come speak to myself and to our reporters to learn how you can continue to join this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have 2 more speakers to go. The next speaker is the partner of one of our earlier speakers. He's the, I guess, the left to the right. Longtime political commentator, radio host, and analyst of politics, Garland Nixon.
Woo!
Garland.
All right, Garland.
All right. Thank you, thank you. Well, Julian Assange is very important for this nation, and he's important for this and the world, and for this reason. The establishment wants to give you 3 options. Option 1, you can go to MSNBC and watch former CIA Chief John Brennan, who lied to Congress and was not held accountable. Option 2, you can turn on CNN and watch former NSA Chief, James Clapper, who lied to Congress and was not held accountable. Option 3, you can always go to Fox News and watch retired General Jack Keane pontificate about war, but they failed to mention that he's on the board of directors for General Dynamics, one of the biggest companies in this nation. Those are the options. The government is not after any of those. They're not locking them up. They're not getting them in. Why? Because Julian Assange exposed the truth about lies, about corruption, about warmongering. So needless to say, lying, corrupt warmongers want to stop it. And we have to stand against that. And I implore everyone here not just to come to this event and go home and feel good about themselves, which we're all going to do, but to additionally continue to do anything that you can do to support the effort to free Julian Assange. Whether it's go online, follow Kevin, follow the people that are here. Continue to support them at events they have. Continue to retweet, to read and retweet the articles in support of him. Disobedient Media, they have some great information on them. Elizabeth Voss over at Disobedient Media, follow them. Great information. So continue to help get the information out, to get the news out that we need so people can know the truth. Thank you.
Woo! All right, Garland.
Very good. Thank you very much for that, Garland. Our final speaker is a longtime peace and justice activist from Maryland. He just recently announced that he's going to be running against Steny Hoyer as the Green Party nominee against him. We really appreciate you taking on Steny Hoyer, who has been exposed recently for his corporate warmongering. Please welcome Pat Elder.
Yeah. All right, Pat.
Thanks, Kevin. I remember watching, I guess it was the internet, because I don't know if it ever made it on the mainstream news, but it showed a helicopter, swooping down on a group of innocent bystanders on a street in Iraq somewhere, I believe. And they shot and killed a dozen people, including 2 journalists. And they were very cavalier about it. Light them up. And it hit me. That's my government. My government is murdering people. It has to stop. And the lying has to stop. And we need to defend the truth makers, like Julian Assange. So I announced my candidacy for Congress. And you know, I have some credentials. I've been spied on by the NSA. I've been spied on by the FBI. I've been spied on by the Maryland State Police. I've been spied on by the Defense Department. Those are my credentials. Thank you.
Sounds like you must be a hero if you're spying on all those groups. Does anyone else want to say before we wrap it up? Any other comments from anyone?
Hi, thanks so much for watching. We're out here in front of the White House.
I'm not anybody famous.
International Day
I'm just an old hippie.
of support for Julian Assange.
I just wanted
6th
to
anniversary
one way that
of him
Julian
seeking asylum in the
Assange can be a
Ecuadorian
role
embassy.
model to all of us is that he doesn't settle for less than the truth. And I think in your individual life, that's one thing you have to do is not settle for less than the truth. It's so easy and so comfortable to accept lies, especially from the people that you're inclined to accept lies from. The people you don't like, it's easy to attack their lies. The ones that you're inclined to support, well, you sort of give them a free ride, and I think that's a bad thing too. So that's all I would say, is just don't accept less than the truth. And if every voter in this country refused to vote for anyone who didn't tell the truth, this would be a much different country. Thanks a lot.
Right on. Thank you very much. That's a good way to end. I'm trying to say the truth. That's very good. And I think Julian really shows that. And him being persecuted like this is really unacceptable. It's undermining freedom of the press and the freedom of the internet. We all have our job to do. I appreciate those watching on live stream. Hope that you share this video with people. We'll have another video up later. But part of is to be the media. Julian Assange showed that. Assange became the media by creating a vehicle for people to tell the truth. To get out documents that can't be denied. No spin by the corporate media, by the militarists in the media, by those who support our move toward various wars, can overcome the reality of what the documents show. And those documents have affected many, many issues. So Julian Assange is a hero. Let me close by saying, telling the truth is not a crime.
Free Assange now.
Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Julian Assange. Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Julian Assange. Truth is not a crime.
Free Julian Assange.
Thank you all very much for coming out. Thank you all for listening. This is the beginning of a campaign to get Julian Assange free from solitary.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that's
there'll be another protest today at the
rally
British Embassy
at 4:30. We're going to be going up to the British Embassy for another rally there. So we'll try to live stream that again on the machine. Please share this video out. Please go to Popular Resistance and follow, the coverage that we have of what's happening with Assange. Call your lawmakers. Spread the word in your communities. We need to free Assange. He has not committed a crime, and he's being persecuted, and we need to free him now. Thank you so much.
We're live here in the British Consulate in Manhattan. The crowd just started building up right now. We got Randy Credico over there. We got WS, World Socialist website here as well. Some beautiful people speaking out for Julian and all whistleblowers. Big shout out to Suzie Dawson. If you're watching this, Suzie, much love to you. Shout out to Elizabeth Voss. She's watching it. Much love to you too, sister. Security's been very polite so far. They've come up to us a few times to ask us how we're doing, if we have anything to drink, how long we're going to be here. Very respectful so far, which is definitely appreciated. So shout out to those guys if we ever get around to watching this. World Socialist website over here. They've been handing out flyers. Very badass. They came prepared, man. So that's Smile over there with the sign. She's the organizer here. She's the one who stepped up. We all appreciate her. She and I have been walking up and down the street here with signs, trying to talk to people, trying to get people to read it, to listen. Hopefully at the very least people research what's going on and they're aware. Because man, Julian's fight is all of our fight. Freedom of the press, freedom of speech applies to everyone. If it doesn't apply to everyone, it applies to no one. Alright. Okay guys, I'm gonna go back to pull out the signs here. I'll catch you all later. It's, I don't even know what time it is. Let me see. 5:17 p.m. Eastern time. So we got a pretty decent crowd here. Got about 15 people. That's Lila. Lila. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 20, yeah. A little less than 20, yeah.
We're sort of like, we're not all together as we're here together, but we all found out about it differently, so we don't all know each other.
No, we don't know each other, yeah. This is the first time meeting each other. Oh, Christian, by the way, nice to meet you, see? There you go. What's your name? Charlie Pope?
Okay, yeah.
Max, nice to meet you, Max.
I don't think there's going to be a lot more.
What's your name, officer?
We need to set up
Brooks, nice to meet you, Brooks.
Is he allowed? We just want to know, you guys
Yes, they cut off his internet access. He can't call people. People can't call him. People can't enter the embassy. Publishing the truth. Just saying the truth. Journalism, that's it.
Yeah, I gotta look it all up. Oh, right. Well, here, let me get your paper to read. It's interesting.
Yeah.
No, we can't. Yeah.
So we're speaking with the police there. Police are very nice. Have been very nice so far. Security's been very nice. Actually, let me flip this over, guys, so you can see. See, those guys over there have been very nice, very courteous to us, very hospitable. And here we are. About 20 of us. But hey, 20 strong. From this, it can grow. It can only grow. Whoever you're watching this right now, whoever's watching this, I encourage you guys, invite you guys to do more. Do more to help get this man freed. Do more to fight for our freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. These are liberties that we can all agree on. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, wherever you live, these are basic fundamental human rights that we're talking about here. We're not talking about abstract things, we're talking about the basic rights of freedom of expression and freedom of the press. This man, all he publishes is truth. That's all he does. He's a journalist. That's all he does. And he facilitates for people to come forward with information about the corruption and hypocrisy of governments around the world. That's all it is, man.
Yeah, I'm snapping on you, girl.
Anybody can come here, man. Anybody. Anybody. I don't care who you are. Chances are you're more than likely a supporter of free speech, a supporter of freedom of the press. So come on down. Come on down, guys. It's been a hot day, but it's starting to cool off right now. We got a little breeze going on. So let's take a little walk down here. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, it's on the line. Freedom for Julian. Journalism is not a crime. Telling the truth is not a crime. Shout out to Ebon, shout out to James, shout out to Fly. Fly, I know you're over there in SD right now, doing the same thing, brother. Thank you, man. Sending my heart out to you. Speaking of heart, Julian, if you ever get to see this, man, my heart is with you, brother, always. Thank you for doing what you do. Doing what you already have done, and doing what you're planning on doing in the future. You've done a great service to humanity. And for that, the least I could do, man, is stand out here and raise awareness about your predicament. About the dire predicament that you're in. Mila. It's Mila. She's the one who stepped up here when no one else would. Decided to host it. And here we are, facilitated all of us being here. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press.
Which one is going?
Don't oppress the press. Journalism is not a crime. Free Julian Assange. Telling the truth is not a crime. Free Julian Assange. His fight is our fight. A fight for his freedom of speech is a fight for freedom of speech for all. Free Julian Assange. Big hug to Suzie Dawson. Thank you, Suzie, for doing all this that you've done so far to help Julian. And confiding in me and so many other people to help as well. What are you doing here?
All right, well, that's awesome. Thank you, Christian. Christian is someone who comes on at times, helps out a lot behind the scenes, and gets to go out and take photos and videos. I mean, we know that there's stuff going on, but I mean, we have limited amount of photos and videos to show for it. If you're interested in watching any of the videos that I've accumulated or photos that I've seen online, you can look at the YouTube description box, and within there you'll also see some hashtags. If you go looking at those hashtags, especially the relatively new one that Independent Outsider Dave started. You'll see all the ones that I've shown, and even maybe one that I didn't show. The one that's from Rupley is a really long one. It's like 2 hours. There's something else. There's a couple of others. There's like photos that are taken by Amanda Vickers, and I think there's like 3 videos from Amanda Vickers that I did not show yet. I think that's a lot of videos to watch. If you stayed on for the hour and almost hour and a half, I think you're tired of watching videos, but there's still probably like 3-4 hours worth of videos out there that you can find, and hopefully I was able to provide you with some, and you can watch it on here, and hopefully there's the video's still up. I've been getting copyright strikes, but that's fine. Try to give credit when I can, but then give the direct links to the videos that I show. At any rate, if anyone would like to come on, you guys are free to, talking about Julian Assange and his 6-year horrorversary, if there's a thing that you can call it that. I mean, it's pretty bad. I get so much weird stuff on me. So that's it. If anyone wants to kind of take the day off, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are tired and just kind of want to vent and maybe talk about other things, we can do that later too. So if no one's hosting, Ryan Bannock, I don't know if he's still here or not, or if he wants to host something. That's good too. Otherwise, don't know what to do. Yep, this really isn't just for me to talk. I don't really like talking too much. If I do, I just have to keep drinking stuff. And, my throat starts getting hoarse. And the more I have to talk, the less work I can do. So the less talking I do, the less talking everyone else does with each other. I like it. I think it's good. I think people need to do this more. Well, I mean, 6 years, imagine. And a great site, I haven't really perused it too much, is justiceforassange.com. I need to double check and see if that's correct. I don't want to give people the wrong address. Oh, there we go. We got someone in. Fly. Hey, how's it going, Fly? I can't hear you. You're probably setting up. Just let me know.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. You knew I'd have to come on for Julian Assange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kristen did a wonderful job today.
Yeah, he did. He was saying that you were at the San Diego one?
Well, there wasn't anything really big in San Diego. I actually, I'm pretty open about being a spiritualist, and so I attended something that might be a little controversial, the Native American prayer dance and circle for Julian's freedom.
Is there a lot of that, or is that like just something you alone, or was it something that there's a group, a tribe, or something?
There are tribes that are involved with many spiritual churches out here in California.
Okay.
Yeah, spirituality is one of those things that kind of encompasses so many different religions, just basically anything that you would consider paganism, not believing in the monotheistic gods. That's what you would consider spirituality.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of that going on, especially probably not turned on by the Bill Cooper videos, but
well, it's always interesting to learn about different theologies.
Yeah,
but a lot of this I actually get firsthand experience by talking with the people that are involved with those religions.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people are now beginning to understand that it doesn't matter if you don't believe in it. Nobody cares what you believe. It's what they believe. It's what we believe. It's what all of us believe.
Yeah.
So your opinion of somebody else's religion has no bearing whatsoever in the world to the person that has that belief.
Yeah. And it shouldn't. And my thing, especially with Bill Cooper, is you really don't care what you believe, and except if your belief kind of permeates down to no freedom, restriction of freedom for others, or freedom for some, not freedom for all, then we've got a problem with the belief. But it's not based up, we're okay with you to practice those beliefs, but you're gonna, if those belief and practices coincide with freedom of mind, freedom of others, then there's probably gonna be a problem. So it's just one of those things, it's like it's we're giving them or you or whoever freedom to practice those beliefs if you want to. I mean, the freedom to believe in that, but that can't happen unless it's free for everybody.
Exactly.
So it can be convoluted. It can boggle the mind sometimes, but it's necessary, because if you don't have that freedom, everything goes to hell, pretty much, I would say.
My only problem with many different organized religions is the fact that so many people are trying to convert others. And you can see that also in ideology, like political ideology. So many times you forget the fact that other people have that right to make their own decision. They have the right to make that own belief.
Yep.
And they want to convert you. And if you're not of that same belief system as somebody else, science is actually another ideology that I believe is similar to religion, because of the fact that people want to convert you. They want to, if you believe in this concept as I believe, then I'm more validated because I have more people believing in what I believe in. Whereas that's an insecurity, in my opinion, because that insecurity, you're saying, I need more people to back me up. If I don't have more people backing me up, then maybe I'm wrong. The security is when you believe in something, regardless of what other people try to convert you into something else. That's where the actual security is, the lack of insecurity, because of the fact that you believe what you believe, regardless of everybody telling you you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And so if you have to be one of those religions that's pushing, saying you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, that's where I really question that religion itself.
And I have plenty of things that I argue against religion, but I would rather have everyone practicing religion, the freedom to, than either one religion or no religion at all. So one of the things that I really don't like is the hypocrisy of the leaders within the religions. You got the ones preaching, telling people that rich can't go into heaven, or et cetera, and they're the ones raising money, living in mansions, driving expensive cars, having private jets. It's just a hypocrisy. And I think, and here's the thing, I think a lot of go ahead, sorry.
A lot of that hypocrisy comes from the fact that we have information from Palantir, we have information from the Stratford files, we have information from the Snowden files, we have information from WikiLeaks. And we realize when we look at these things that they do focus on thought leaders. And so thought leaders are people that are able to get other people to follow them, listen to them, support them. And so there's this huge focus on thought leaders, which many of those thought leaders are within the religious community. So if you can get those thought leaders to promote your concepts, to promote your ideology, to promote your theology, if you can get them to promote you, then it's advantageous to find a corrupt spiritual type leader. It's very advantageous to find an influential political head. It's very beneficial to a system to pay those kind of people off and have them preaching your ideas rather than preaching the ideas that they might have themselves. So corrupt people are normally elevated by systems like our government. And they're elevated to the point where they can grab a hold of all these people and herd them to whatever side of a political ideology or whatever. So we always have to beware, is this person that's leading this actually somebody that I can really look up to? Or is it somebody that I've already seen giving bad judgment, giving bad influence, trying to herd people towards something that's not beneficial towards the entire society?
But that's, I mean, it kind of also delves into the cult of personality we keep talking about. Is you just make a bad comment or disagreement with somebody that's highly popular, you're gonna feel that wrath. It's like, just prove me wrong. Did I say prove what I just said was not true? You know, obviously there'd be libel if it wasn't true, but people will just attack you for saying it.
Yep.
It's crazy out there.
Yeah, there's so much deceit and deception. We just recently found Snowden documents on deceit and deception and psychological warfare. I mean, these are the things that a normal person is not going to realize, that it's our government that's targeting these people. It's our government that targeted the occupiers. It's our government that targeted the TPP people. And why? Because Department of Commerce has very big interest in our system continuing the way that it's going.
When do they start to target? I mean, right now, a lot of the movements out there are small. I mean, like if you look at Julian Assange, he's big in the journalistic world and I guess that world really.
Yeah.
But and in our community, I would say it's a weird community because we have patches of communities and different labels and whatever boxes. But within our little indie alternative media community, he's highly touted as a figurehead for freedom of speech. But everyone out there, the majority, they don't know him or they don't care. I mean, just look at the rallies that we've had last few days. 6 years he's been there, 2,752 days under house arrest. There's only like up to 20 people at a rally.
If you really look at what they've given us information-wise, that truly should change perception in the world. It's this perception of civics, of how our government really works. So, of course, the government is going to do everything in their power to keep the average person from ever investigating these files, to investigate any of these leaks, because they reveal the true civics behind it, rather than the perception of civics that so many people are trying to push off on everybody else. It doesn't matter what your perception of civics is. When you read the WikiLeaks, when you read the Snowden documents, when you read anything out there that's showing you how the civics really work, they're going to try to obstruct that because they don't want you to know how it really works. Information is power. If you know how the government's really working, if you get into these civics courses that you're learning through WikiLeaks, if you're getting into these civic courses that you're getting through the Snowden files, then you have that power. They do not want you empowered. Their continued effort is to keep you not empowered, not to give you that strength. So when you understand that civics and you understand that it's targeting individuals that say this system is freaking corrupt, if I can't stand by this system, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Green, I don't care if you're Libertarian, I don't care if you're a Reform Party. When this information that we're learning from the civics that WikiLeaks gives us is that your belief system is wrong. The facts are there in these files of what it really is. So for the people that are trying to say that, you know, we need the government to completely take care of us, or we need the business to completely take care of us, you discover in these files and all this information that neither one of them is looking out for your best interest. So we need something different. We need something different than a government that serves only the business. We need a government. We need a system that has a government that serves more than just the economic power of a few.
Mm-hmm. Do you think America is the most important country, the precipice of getting the power back to the people, just because the amount of people with guns, citizens with guns? I mean, we can be the largest militia to go against their own army to take control of our government back. There's no other country that has that freedom.
Honestly, we don't really want to go against our army, because our army are our sons and our daughters, our mothers.
Well, yeah, but wouldn't the army kind of say the same thing with the militia? I mean, it's going to be a civil war. And
the army in most circumstances is going to stand with the people. And so we would need a military coup if we were going to ever change. And we couldn't do it without the military.
We couldn't do it without the police. We couldn't do it with the military, else we'd be fighting them. And it would be a long-standing battle. I mean, it's going to be fighting different cities, different towns. And if it gets really ugly, then it's going to start diving into families. I mean, there's no way that a militia is going to outgun the military. There's just no way. They can't even, I mean, tanks, whatnot. But the thing is, the military is just more focused on big explosions, targeted buildings, and a lot of infrastructure stuff. But then when you're civilians going against corrupt politicians and military that will follow orders of these corrupt politicians and generals without question, then it's going to start getting to be where you have to target and take hostages for family members of these people, and whether they care that much, and target infrastructure of where these people reside, where the big systems are in place, banks. It's going to be chaos.
To me, the most important aspect of proving how powerful the WikiLeaks are, how powerful the Snowden documents are, it's if you take a look at the Department of Defense decision right after the WikiLeaks started showing the corruption within the Democrat Party, the Department of Defense reiterated to everybody, and they've reiterated many, many times since then, that if you are a government worker, you are not a government worker. If you are SIGINT cleared, which means you get signals intelligence, you are not allowed to look at government classified documents on a non-government server. The way they play this off is that you might be reading something that's above your SIGINT clearance. But the bottom line comes down to, they don't want our military, which is SIGINT cleared. They don't want our military that's SIGINT cleared. They don't want our CIA that's SIGINT cleared. They don't want our FBI that is SIGINT cleared. They don't want all of our law enforcement that is SIGINT cleared to actually understand the civics and how it is oppressive to the people of the United States of America. Because if you were in the government, in law enforcement, or in the Department of Justice, and you're able to read these documents and see how badly our civics have been and how bad they've fucked all of us and how it's all been on purpose, then they would never side with the government. They would turn their backs on the government and side with the people. So if we ever came down to a conflict where it was military versus civilian, then the best weapon that we have is that information. And we take that information directly to them and we say, we know that you can't look at these documents. We've got the most important documents that you can ever read highlighted for you to show you how they have turned you against the American people. So please read these. Understand that I am one of your brothers. I am one of your sisters. I am one of your cousins. I am blood to you. We are of the same country. We're of the same blood. So please don't shoot on me because they try to tell you that you need to fear me. I don't fear you because you are my blood.
I think one of the strategies, or one of the predictions, and I think it's sound strategically, is that if it comes to the point where they want the civilians to stand down, like say they take away our Second Amendment, they want our guns,
they're never going to take that away.
They're not going to send the military. They're not going to send the police. What they're going to do is send a NATO force type of army from outside the U.S. to do it, and the military orders and the police orders are for everyone to stand down and let that force do their job.
Yes. Just like so many people didn't believe anybody over the Walmart FEMA camps, DHS involved in shut down Walmarts. Now mainstream media is reporting about that. Mm-hmm. Are they going to report over this whole new debacle over the border? Did you hear anything about Julian Assange on mainstream TV today?
Nope. No.
Nope, you wouldn't hear about that. But did you hear everything about how Trump is a horrible person because of some policy?
Yeah.
It was on NBC. It was on ABC. It was on CBS. It was on, oh my God, it was everywhere. And then I go and I look onto YouTube, and the normal suspects are still reporting on the same thing that mainstream media is. So if you didn't hear it from CNN, if you didn't hear it from Washington Post, if you didn't hear from the New York Times, which all of them were reporting on it too, then you can just go to YouTube and you can find plenty of people that are reporting on that today.
Yep. The tough thing is you when you're a news person or a commentator, you have to be. You're in tough territory. You're gonna get a lot of hate. You're gonna get a lot of harsh comments, whatever. Of course, there's trolls everywhere. But the thing is, there are really things to attack Trump on. There's plenty of it. But
absolutely
attack him on the nonsense that mainstream media attacks him with, and it's almost to the point where Trump supporters, anyone who attacks Trump, is going to be attacked by them. But there's so much stuff that you can pin on Trump, like just the swamp that he drained was good until you filled it back up with his own. He's the one responsible.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, well, he's the one responsible for putting the person in to repeal net neutrality, and he's also responsible for caving in to the people who want gun control. And even he's got the NRA support for gun control. And that's happened on his watch. A Republican president.
Only a Republican can get rid of guns.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. A Democrat won't, but a Republican can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's how they are easily playing all these sides.
Yeah.
Fourth Amendment wouldn't have been repealed by a Democrat. It had to be done by a Republican. It was done by Bush.
Mm-hmm.
It was done by Obama, continued by Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's everyone on that side's like, oh, okay, I'm okay with it because hey, he's
exactly. So
president.
Free speech is going to have to be taken away by a Democrat. And it's just they have so many of them have no problem with that because they don't want somebody else to speak. Your words hurt somebody. Your words might actually damage somebody.
All right, you can get triggered now, Eric.
Oh, those words are gonna triggered. People. You know what? It's like with free speech, you have to defend it at all cost. At all cost.
There is such a thing as verbal abuse and mental abuse. I will completely stand behind that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, where do we begin that slide? Where do we begin that slide into taking away somebody's free speech?
Well,
I have no compassion or empathy for abusers, be it physical, be it verbal, be it mental. I have no compassion for them.
I mean,
it's a sadistic thing.
Yeah, it's it gets to the point where if it gets like a violent verbal abuse, and for this, it's pretty simple. If anyone just comes on, just says random things and takes over the conversation, we can't have a conversation. It's taking away the free speech of us all because we have to share the space, and we want to talk about certain subjects and not veer off too far, or at least someone could bring it back and we could keep talking. But if someone just keeps interrupting, and someone who keeps attacking, verbally, hating, whatever, I mean, just do that somewhere else. Do it in a blog. Do it in your your own video of it. That's fine. Here, although unless it's too bad, I mean, some people like to troll and joke, and that's fine in live chat. And I tell people to just relax, time out if you have to. Don't ban. You know, just they're gonna stay for a little while. They're gonna get tired. If they don't, then we deal with it another way. Who knows?
Well, the way I like to put it, especially to people that are questioning, you know, well, how can you be free speech if you're kicking somebody out of this chat and silencing them? And the way I like to put it to them is, I have no problem with having their free speech, but if you come into my home and start talking shit to my family, then you better believe I'm going to kick you the fuck out. So that's if it's my home.
If it's my home, I won't be kicking you out. I'll be punching your mouth.
that too. You know, if you're coming into my home and going to start intimidating people and start pushing people around, then yeah, I have every right to kick you the hell out of my home.
All right, and here's Jeremy Chan. I've never met you before. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, Jeremy.
You may have to configure your audio, your mic. On bottom left, there's a mute symbol. There's an up arrow next to it. If you click on that, you can choose your audio and your mic.
There you go. He's flicked it on and off.
So that's just mute and unmute, and then there's also the so there's a select a microphone and select a speaker. You just have to say it, choose one. Typically, if it's the same as your system, it'll work. But, while you're trying to get set up, we'll keep talking and chime in at any times to test your audio.
Eric, it's good to see you, and thank you so much for all of your tweets.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime.
I've been rocking it today, especially today.
I don't tweet very much either, and you retweeted every one of my tweets along with others. That's a lot of retweets.
Just might as well.
Yeah.
You got to get it in a newsfeed at some point.
Yeah, and here's the thing that mainstream media does right. Like that's a hard thing to say. But they will get a compilation of every type of video or photograph that they have sometimes when they're covering a big topic, and then they'll be able to they're able to grab all the feeds, grab all the videos and photos, and when they have time for it, they can share it to people. And that's one thing we don't have with independent media. So if someone out there wants to do it, I don't.
You have to do it independently then.
Yeah.
If you want something done right, then do it yourself.
Don't have
so. That's why, you know, screw the mainstream media. They just want to lecture propaganda to people and just keep brainwashing and just, you know, keep the abuse going. Like,
well, you have to remember there is a bunch of the population that really thinks that everything is so black and white. And that it's so easy to, hey, you know, if Julian Assange wanted to be free, he could just walk out the door and face the music. It's not quite as black and white as people want to believe it is, but media has constantly tried to make it appear like it's black and white. So we're going to give you this scenario, and you're going to pick the right side, right? You're going to pick the right side. The right side's always about this idea that this is some kind of a human rights issue. So you're going to pick the right side, and this is the right side. They do lead you into that, and there's a good part of the population that really wants to be led.
Hi there, Aaron. What? Okay, it's going a little bit crazy. Hi there.
What the fuck?
I don't know. It's
hey,
hard
Aaron.
to see what's going on there.
Looks like flipping around.
Yeah. And you're muted. You can unmute.
Hey, hi.
Hi there, Jeremy. You got it working.
How you doing, Jeremy?
Here, let me unmute you. There you go. Go and click the unmute. I feel like this is going to be a fun few minutes. You're still muted there, Aaron. Oh, all right. We're getting a whole army in here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How's it going, Desa?
And you normally know what that means.
Hi, Desa. Yeah, you can talk if you want. That's what we're here to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because this isn't our first time at the rodeo.
No. Hey, we might be in that 6-year mark 5 years from now. So, but we shall see. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know. Is that legal?
I think that's still legal, but I'd get rid of them. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. As much as we would all like to see that, probably not good for free speech.
Now, it's really odd. This is the same thing that happened to, wasn't this the same thing that happened to Dave?
I mean, it's impressive. That's great.
Wasn't this the same thing that happened to Dave? Or was
Yeah,
it
I think
James?
so. You know, Aaron, there's no way we can pay you any money. We don't have any dollar bills we could put anywhere. So it's, you know, this is like a free thing. That's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe if we had it like private, it might be better. Okay.
Well, I think you can find this one on any of those porn sites for free, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to put you in a waiting room. All right,
Yep.
Jeremy, Desa, you guys have your chance at 15 minutes of fame, I guess.
Yep.
As long as the butt's not hairy, I'm fine with it.
Oh man, that visual.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, so who's next?
That's not bad. I mean, it's like getting that free lap dance, except this is just visual lap dance here. Yeah, we allow trolls in here. We're fine with it.
Go ahead and say something. I mean, you got to have an opinion on something. Come on,
yeah,
Jeremy.
I mean, at least, are you guys with free Julian Assange? At least. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. All right.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Ew, come on now. That's
Hello.
That's
That's ice cream. We can call it ice cream.
This was definitely a setup.
Yeah,
Ebon.
it's a setup. That's fine. Hey, if they want to go ahead and attack, that's good. It means we're doing something right, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. You know you're going to probably have to get make sure this doesn't go public.
Oh, it's going public. I'll probably get hit, but it's fine.
Well,
I kind of want to get out of YouTube and into Steam it. And
Well, you just you just had 2 girls, 1 cup on there, so probably a good idea not to have that one up there for the public to see.
Yeah.
People are eventually gonna run into it anyway, because like either like someone's gonna be like wanting to just show somebody just to shock them or offend them by showing like 2 girls and 1 top or something like that, or what was the other one? What was that other one? The one that was like really
Yeah, but the thing is, you're not going to want to strike over some stupid ass doing this shit.
Right.
Which is
See, that's
exactly
the thing is,
what
we don't care if you show that or whatever. It's going to affect the streaming.
Yeah, we turned it off, Gnome. This is what we're talking about with them trying to get copyright strikes up against people. And so it's not a matter of just being fun and games and trolling somebody. It's a matter of purposely trying to take down their information because they don't want this information getting out. Who doesn't want information like that getting out? COINTELPRO, who shuts down movements.
Yeah.
Who sends spies in to like sabotage movements and shit like that.
Yeah.
Sounds like social justice warriors to me.
The way it feels, it feels like they don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Because trying to do something, so many people are butting heads. I mean, just
the bad kind.
Look at
the
me,
ones that
I
are for
guess.
censorship.
But also, maybe it's all set up. Who knows? Or maybe it's just so it's either one, it's just people are just so different that they're gonna butt heads. Two, that people are just, it's just human nature. Some people are just greedy or just want something from people they don't have and they think someone has it. Three is people from the government just want to stop whatever you're trying to do. And so those three things are things you got to avoid, and that's tough because you have to start with the trust somewhere, and if you can't trust at least someone saying something that's true, everything else is not going to work.
Yeah, so whenever you want to just cut that part out of it, just let me know, and I can send you a revised copy with that cut out.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I could just go ahead and blur it. It just means instead of post-processing up, I have to keep it, I might have to keep it unlisted. I keep it private or unlisted, and then once I edit it, I'll put it back.
I'd say keep it private.
And very true, Rainbow. I would not have it private, because if you have it still up after you, because
they'll still see it and flag it.
Which is what they've been doing to a lot of other people.
So do I just
you download it yourself, then you edit it, and then upload it as a regular file.
I'm just trying to see the thing.
Are you recording the? Are you also recording your live stream, or no? You don't do that.
Typically I do. I just didn't. I have on DLive, so I can just record the DLive and use that. So it's fine.
Okay.
People who want to see the uncensored part, you guys can go there and keep watching it.
They still trying to get in?
They're still trying to get in. Gavin McKines.
Well, you're lucky they're not playing the Snicker penis and the.
I don't care. It's good for a good laugh.
Yeah.
But one thing I do love is I love wasting their time. I love them trying to do something after they do something, and then just have them keep trying, keep waiting. They're like, why can't I get in? Why won't these guys let me in? Or it's like, oh, I can't wait till I get in, and I'm gonna do this and that. And they're
gonna have another video and another everything I'm gonna share. Oh yeah, I got it all prepped and ready to go.
And then they're just waiting, and they don't get to come in. So I'm fine with it.
Speaking of videos, I'm uploading stuff on BitChute.
Oh, look, there's Milo Yiannopoulos. I'm sure he's going to want to come in this channel and say stuff.
I don't think it's the real one.
No, I don't think so either.
No, it's got to be. It's got to be. We got to trust these people. Come on. Milo, we got a couple things to say about your conservatism. You're being on a side. How about you not be on a side and you just actually stand up for what's right?
All right, let's see. What am I going to do here? Allow embedding, age restriction. I mean, this is kind of cool because I was like getting bored. I was like, why aren't trolls coming on my show? They're going on like on Ryan's, they're going on Kelly's, they're going on James's channel, but they
know that they feel welcome and they could do whatever the fuck they want, but they choose not to.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think somebody's trying to make a point about you not being inclusive.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't handle the free speech, I guess, because they weren't talking.
Like I said, it all comes down to, if you're in my house, you do what I say. You don't come in and start talking shit to my family and insulting my wife and children and think that I'm not going to punch you in the face or kick you the fuck out, or both, you know?
And you know what? Hey, guys, these are for you. And you guys can't really do anything, can you? Because you guys wouldn't show your faces. Oh, except the lady. She'll show anything, really.
Yeah.
For free? That's awesome. We need more of that free speech.
All right, bro. I'm gonna get out of here. Go get some work done.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Fly.
We love you. Take care. Have a good one.
Love you guys too. I love
good
the
to see
trolls
you.
too. Even the fact that they think that they have some moral high ground or whatever.
At least I hope you're getting paid by the government to do this and getting paid well. I mean, just to hang around in some person's Zoom in a show where there's like 6 people watching. You guys are making half the people who are watching.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we could turn people like that into actually doing something beneficial for mankind?
Yeah.
True.
Rather than trying to claw other people down and act like, oh, see, now you're not for your inclusiveness. Yeah, I'm proving you to be a hypocrite. And there we go. I made my point, and now you have to listen to what I say because I say you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
How about just not focus, like, you know, how can we actually fucking fix it so we can make it better? That's like with me. I just
oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's like I would like to fix things to make things better, but if things have to be broken, like, you know, with certain things, let it be broken, and hopefully you can actually reconstruct it. Have that reconstruction one day.
Yeah, I'm just.
Early night, though.
Good night, Fly. Hopefully,
Good night,
I'll see you around.
Later. Take care. We love you.
Love you guys too.
Love you.
Bye.
Let's see. Yeah. Maybe it's time for an open topic. Anything goes. Real anything goes.
Oh.
Cue the. You know, it's just not the same when someone's showing off their ass without any music, especially like 70s porn music. I mean, you gotta at least keep your audio on for that.
But the 80s cheesy porno music just sounds funny though because it's so cheesy. It's like, oh my god, this is like awful, but it's like funny because it's cheesy.
All right.
And then the 90s, like, oh, this shit sucks. And like the 2000s, oh yeah, they have porn with porno parody plots, and it's fucking hilarious. Like, and now the 2010s, now we have fan fictions that are now dossiers.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to open topic. Anything goes. Yeah. So
that will. Oh, let me rephrase that.
Sure.
Sorry.
No problem.
That they will make into a dossier, a fan fiction, like some fucked up, crazy, weird fan fiction, then make it into a dossier. That's how we get them.
All right. So I'm gonna stop the video, live stream. It's gonna come back up in a few minutes. You trolls, you guys can feel free to wait in that waiting room for however long you want to wait there. And we'll have an open topic, people.